Hello, welcome to our next episode of MMTV. Today I'm in the car getting ready to go to the ASCAP Love Fest. It's an evening where a lot of songwriters get together, usually a couple hundred, just to have dinner, meet each other, and it's an official event that's put on by ASCAP, which is a songwriters organization. So we'll see what tonight has in store, if there are any unusual adventures or people to meet. I don't know. So I'm gonna get on the road. ASCAP Love Fest. I wonder who's in there. This is very LA. I happened to run into my dear friend Ken. Hello.
Hi Amanda, very proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
And now that you're a mogul, I think that's amazing that you've branched out into all these different, you're the queen of all media now.
If you had any advice for an up-and-coming songwriter, if you had one kernel of knowledge to impart, what would it be?
Write as much as possible and write with as many people as you can so you can continue to get better. It's like being an athlete, you have to do it all the time to get better at it.
I agree. Lori has a very, very special place in my heart because she was great friends with my mom growing up and was my first guitar teacher and also happens to be an incredible songwriter. And I want to ask you, Lori, if you had one piece of advice to give to up-and-coming beginning songwriters, what would you tell them?
I have two pieces of advice. Never give up and don't listen to anything anybody says.
Thank you.
My name is Tommy Faragher. I'm a music producer and a writer. You probably know me from the music I've been producing for Glee, the a cappella stuff, the Warblers. I had a #1 hit on Billboard with Teenage Dream that I produced for the Warblers for Glee.
So we want to know, if you're an aspiring young songwriter getting into the business now, what would you tell someone like that?
If I were an aspiring young songwriter getting into the business, as I once was, I would say write as much as you can. Just write. And then play it for people to try to get feedback on how they respond to it. But be careful who you play it for, because not everybody is going to have the right kind of advice for you. Trust your instincts and write just as much as you can and keep going. Most important, to keep going, really push forward, really believe in yourself and put your heart into it. If you play the piano, put your hands on the keys and don't take them off until you write a song.
That sounds militant.
Yeah, it's a little militant. It kind of goes back to my Russian piano teacher. Sometimes you have to be repetitious. You have to keep going over and over and over and drill it and just make it a part of who you are.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
I'm CJ Vanston.
Yes?
I was a session keyboard player for 20 years. Played on 400 or 500 albums. As a film composer, I do all the Christopher Guest movies. I don't know if you know Waiting for Guffman or Best in Show, A Mighty Wind. Those movies.
Which is one of my personal favorites.
A lot of people like that one, right?
If you are an aspiring songwriter who's just starting today, what could you tell somebody in that position who is still looking to achieve success? You've obviously been down this path, so you would know.
Yeah, well, what I would say is it's what you define success as, because music has never been more generic than it is right now. The music business is in a decline, which makes the record companies and the radio stations very fear-based. So if success for you is money, you're going to want to learn how to do whatever is current and do that. If success for you is art, then avoid it like the plague. Listen to the greats. the Stevie Wonders, the Beatles, the Earth, Wind and Fire's, Bill Withers. Yes, I work with a lot of young songwriters that don't know their history. And when I was 18, I knew the history of music back to the 1600s. You gotta know who your fathers and mothers are in music. That's my piece of advice. It's a tough time right now. I feel for you guys, because when I came up, there was music and money everywhere. And it's very scarce right now. It's very easy to get sucked into sounding the same as everyone else. I'd say listen to the greats, man. That's what I did. And just know your history and write some great songs.
CJ, thank you so much.
You got it. My pleasure.
So I'm here with Mike Todd.
Unrehearsed.
Mike happens to be a wonderful resource of information, very helpful for everyone who's an ASCAP member, but he is also a great musician himself, a sax player, touring artist. If you were to give advice to a young beginning songwriter, what would you say?
Well, make sure you love to do it, because it's an unforgiving business. We're in an age now where, as a songwriter, initially you have to be sort of a renaissance man or woman, where you have to be the jack of all trades.
You have to get out and meet people?
Absolutely. It's a people-driven business, and it's the only way you're going to get more people to know about your stuff. It's one thing for you to try to sell yourself, but it's so much more effective when everybody's selling it for you. That's how it works.
We heard from a lot of very talented songwriters tonight, and the unexpected surprise was when I went to get my food, I put it down on a table next to a gentleman. I didn't look at him closely when I did that, and sat down and realized I was sitting with Dave Stewart. We proceeded to have dinner and a really great conversation. He brought out his iPad and showed me all sorts of projects he's working on, like the new Stevie Nicks documentary, and he showed me a photo of him and Annie Lennox when they were young, before they were famous. It was very sweet. And some psychedelic pictures of himself. He showed me a few film clips from the upcoming Stevie Nicks film as well, which was great to get such an inside view into what his current world is. He really wants to bring value to music through his film work. It just goes to show you never know when you're running along these music paths who you will run into and shake hands with or sit down with and talk to, and who you'll end up working with. So if you're a songwriter, my advice to you is, if you love it, keep doing it, don't stop doing it. It can be a very incredibly fulfilling thing, beyond anything monetary, just fulfilling for your soul. So we'll see you next time.